is the FA Cup, as I mentioned, and that will be to face Manchester United, because Manchester United beat Brighton on penalties in their semi-final over the weekend at Wembley. It's a little too far away to preview that game right now, but what are your thoughts on Manchester United and the resilience they showed this weekend after what we'd seen against Sevilla in Europe?
Well, I mean, yeah, I guess, after, they had to bounce, after Liverpool game, they did it using Betis, if I remember correctly. This time they lost to Sevilla and they had to bounce here. So, obviously, missing a lot of the players. So you look at Varane and Lisandro Martinez, that in itself is a problem. Maguire was suspended. Some will say that may have been a good thing ahead of the game. I again, like to respect players. As much as I don't think he's a Manchester United top player or a top shelf player, I feel for him as a former player. It can be an easy time for him, but he knows that Luke Shaw can play. Every time he puts Luke Shaw in that position, he deputizes extremely well. Bruno Fernandes, again, was pretty good, had a number of chances. I don't think it was outstanding, but it's clear to say that Manchester United, without Bruno Fernandes, doesn't function properly. So, I mean, look, it wasn't an easy game. I like Brighton in that game more than I like Manchester United, although it was a back and forth, and I think they were kind of, exchanging blows in terms of control of the game. But it's an important one. It's an important one in terms of building under Ten Hag. He's got one cup under his belt. He's got an opportunity in a game of games, right? I mean, first time ever that we're going to see Manchester City or Manchester Derby in the FA Cup final. And we'll see where City are. If they're in Champions League final, I believe FA Cup is just a week ahead of that. So that's going to be another job, at least for Pep Guardiola and Manchester City to juggle these two competitions.
So my penultimate question then, given that we know, or we've seen that Manchester United have beaten Manchester City and know how to do that, there was a question on the ESPN FC show last night as to which side you'd rather be on this season. Arsenal pushing for a title win and going toe-to-toe with Manchester City, or Manchester United to have the chance of a double here?
Can you just ask an easy question?
No.
Chance, because again,
we only give you what you can handle, Janusz.
No, I can handle it all. And at first I was thinking, given where Manchester United were, ahead of this season, right? My goodness. I mean, they got to be happy with the League Cup and this, but I still think, so you want me to compare Manchester United and Arsenal, right? Where Manchester United would want to be.
You're a former professional, Janusz. You get the chance to relive a season. Which team would you want to be on? You have to decide right now whether you'd rather be on this Manchester United team this season or the Arsenal team.
I think I would want to be on the Arsenal team. And I think if you ask Manchester United fans and players, they would say the same, because this is Manchester United. Nobody has won more titles in England, in the Premier League, in the former in the top division than Manchester United. And for Manchester United to see Manchester City for the last decade owning that city can be good. So I think both sides would rather be this late in the season at the top of the Premier League fighting for that than, the FA Cup or the League Cup.
Oh, even with the League Cup already under your belt, so at least you have won some silverware this season.
We're talking about Manchester United here,
right?
I mean, I would have to say that I'd be shocked or very, very surprised if the answer from Manchester United fans and players was different.
Okay, I said penultimate question because the last question is who's going to win the league title?
Manchester City. Yeah, I told you that last week. You just, you have to read between the lines. Just joking. I've given you plenty of ammunition to have a go at me, but
I know.
Don't worry. I feel
worry.
Comfortable with myself.
I've still got a lot of ammunition in that bag ready for you next week as well.
What's going to happen if Arsenal beats Manchester City?
There'll be many a question then. Listen, guys, thank you so much for sending in your questions today. We always encourage you to send in the questions about the topics that we tell you that we are talking about on the show, and then we'll do our best job to answer them. But we'll see you next week.
Thank you very much for watching ESPN FC on YouTube. For more highlights, analysis, and exclusive content, be sure to subscribe.